Ray Fittipaldo of the Post-Gazette joining us right now, our Steelers insider on the Fan Hotline, presented by Sullivan Super Service, Pittsburgh trusted plumbing and HVAC provider for over 50 years. In his weekly chat, he wrote this: Steelers players practiced in pads one day last week. I know some players weren't thrilled about that. I don't think many other teams are doing that in Week 18. I just think they need better game plans, better buy-in from players. I get the sense now that a lot of players are frustrated and not believing in the game plans. All right, Raymond, first of all, good morning. And what do you mean by that? Spill the deets.
Yeah, so the question was, I think it was phrased, the Steelers aren't practicing hard enough. So, basically I was pointing out that, hey, they went in pads one day last week. And as you guys know, I think they only get when you guys get 8 or 10 padded practices a season, something like that. So they saved one for the end of the season, and they went pretty hard. The other detail there is that the skill position players want the ball in their hands more, and it's not happening. So, maybe their pleas are falling on deaf ears. Hey, listen, maybe in the playoffs they're going to spring something on us, and they'll break some of their tendencies, and they will start throwing the ball more. But I know people in that locker room want more responsibility on their shoulders. They think the passing game can help, and right now, they're still trying to play smash mouth football, and as you guys can see, it hasn't been working for the last month or so.
Yeah, Ray. What's your opinion of Mike Tomlin's comments about that at his press conference and the way that they structured the game plan against Cincinnati? Like, you would think that you have a free game to kind of tune up things and get some momentum to go into the playoffs, and you want to, explore different areas and get things going. Yeah. But they didn't. They chose not to, and Mike Tomlin even admitted it. Basically, what is your take on that?
I don't know if they were spooked by the weather. I mean, it was going to be cold, but there was no snow in the forecast or anything. So to do a 180 from what you did in Cincinnati, your best offensive game of the season, over 500 yards. Russ with 414, and then to pivot away from that, it didn't make sense then, and it doesn't make sense now. I don't understand why they did that. So to me, as you go into the playoffs here, probably a similar forecast in Baltimore, maybe a little bit of snow, but it's probably going to be in the 20s at kickoff. To me, you got to put your trust in Russell Wilson. Why did you go out and get a veteran quarterback? You got him for instances like these. He's been there. He's done that. And I think if there's any time to maybe go back to what they were doing in the middle of the season when they were really going good on offense, I think now's the perfect time. I don't get the sense that they're going to do it, guys, but hey, maybe they'll surprise us, and they'll get back to what they were doing when things were going much better in November and early December.
Yeah, I'm not expecting it either, Ray. And just real quick, here's why. Here's that answer from Tomlin.
For us, it's about playing to a personality that we prescribe to engineer victory, to possess the ball. And a component of possessing the ball is not only time, but managing risk. And obviously, there's less risk with running the football than throwing it, and sometimes that's a component of the discussion as well.
I can't believe he said it out loud, Ray. That to me sounds like a guy who doesn't trust even this quarterback.
Guys, this was after Joe Burrow possessed the ball for 38 minutes when he threw the ball 38 times, right?
And they possessed it more than the Bengals when they threw it 40 times the first game. It's just ridiculous.
I know.
So hearing that, and then some of the national discourse from Ian Rappaport that we played in the last hour, Ray, could this be the last game for Russell Wilson in his Steelers uniform? And maybe I'll ask it another way. Do they view it as kind of a make or break game for Russell Wilson?
That's a good question. I think a month ago, I don't even think this would have been something to discuss. But, Russ hasn't played well. The offense hasn't responded to him in the last month or so. Me personally, I think a lot of it is on the conservative game plans. That's just my opinion. I don't know what they're thinking in the front office right now, but I will admit the last month, at the very least, guys, I think now they could probably bring him back at their price, right? Like when he was when he was viewed as maybe a top 12, top 15 quarterback in the league, maybe they were going to have to pay a little bit more for him. But now I think, the door is open. Get him to come back at your price. Maybe draft a quarterback this year or next year in the second or third round, develop a guy so you have a plan after Russ. I'm not really buying like this Aaron Rodgers stuff. I had you guys on before the show, and
thank you.
I just don't buy it. I don't think you want to start over year after year after year. If they're going to keep a vet, I think it's more than likely that they will keep Russ.
So I'm going to shoot you with some Ray Truth serum. Pew, pew, right now. So like you got to answer this.
You pewed him.
Pewed him. Pew,
twice.
Pew,
you double pewed.
Pew, pew, pew. Yes. Do you think the conservative game plans on offense is more Mike Tomlin than Arthur Smith?
Yes.
Do you think that's been the case?
I do.
Do you think that's been the case the last 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. Listen, Arthur was brought in because he and Mike did see eye to eye on how they want to play. I just have a hard time, Doran, knowing that Arthur put together that game plan in Cincinnati a month ago, how much success it had. I just have a hard time that anyone in his position would do what they did, right? Like it doesn't really compute for me just thinking about it from a common sense perspective. So I get it. They want to play to that personality. They don't want to turn the ball over. But I would argue you're not there yet with your offensive line. In fact, your offensive line has regressed in the second half of the season. They're not playing well in pass protection right now, and they're not playing as well as they did earlier in the season in the run game. So are you taking a risk if you have Russ drop back 35, 40 times? Yeah, because honestly, we don't know if the pass protection is going to hold up, but it's probably better than, first down run for 1 yard, second down run for 2 yards, 3rd and 7 punt. That's really what we've been seeing here for the last month or so.
With that being said, how much Justin Fields do you think we'll see Saturday?
I think they would be crazy not to use Justin Fields. To me, this offense needs a spark right now. Mike brought up the injury. He hurt his abdominal muscle in that first game against the Ravens, so he didn't play against the Chiefs. And I can kind of buy why they didn't use him against the Bengals, but it's a new season. You got to use your best players, and I think Justin has to be a part of this game plan. Whatever it is, short yardage, goal line, whatever. They gotta use their best players, and like I said, I would be shocked if they don't insert him a little bit.
Sorry, Ray. Ray Fittipaldo, the Post-Gazette, our Steelers insider, with us here on the Fan Morning Show. Is there a circumstance here where Russ plays bad enough that Justin would then get the remainder of the snaps? What kind of leash do you think he might have?
Man, I think it's a fairly long leash. I think that would be viewed as a panic move on Mike's part. And, if they wanted to make that move, Adam, I think they would have made that at some point during the season. I don't think that's something you do in the playoffs. Now, if it looked really bad and they fell behind 21-0 again, hey, maybe you do something to get a little bit of a spark. But I don't think they have that in their mindset going into the game whatsoever.
They should because it's one and done. Honestly, I mean, I hear what you're saying, Ray, but they should. Like, if this should be a short leash. You got to win the football game. You're talking about urgency if you aren't the second. You're talking about winning playoff games. You got to do what it takes, in my opinion.
I agree with you, but what happened when they fell behind 21-0 last year to the Bills? And, against the Chiefs, they fell behind, 35-7. I just think when you are bought in on a quarterback and you feel like he's your guy, Mike just isn't the guy that is going to go away from that. So maybe I'm wrong. Hey, listen, the way they start playoff games, we might see that scenario. So maybe we'll find out Saturday night about 9 o'clock or so.
Ray, thank you for your time. Where should Callis take a lovely lady on a first date?
Oh, man. How about Ranucci's out in the North Hills?
Oh, he goes specific. All right, you better take her to Ranucci's. All right, thank you, Ray.
Yeah. All right, see you guys.
Thanks, Ray.
Good stuff from Ray.